Section 1.7, we're going to talk about solving inequalities. This is a short section. There's only a few problems to work on, so we're almost done before test 1. So with solving inequalities, most of what you know from solving linear equations still applies. Okay, we just have a couple of different things we're going to add on to that. So let's look at an inequality here. We'll look at a simple one. We'll say 2x, and instead of equal with the inequality, on this one we're going to have greater than or equal to 8. So 2x is greater than or equal to 8. Okay. So we're just going to treat this just like an equal sign. Okay, here if we had this 2x equals 8, we would divide both sides by 2. So we're going to do that same thing here. Okay, the 2's cancel out, and we get that x is greater than or equal to 4. So with an equation, we get one solution, or if we have a quadratic, maybe we'll have 2 solutions, or just a few solutions. Here we actually have an infinite number of solutions. We're saying the x values that work in this inequality are all x's that are greater than or equal to 4. Okay. So we need to represent that, and we're going to represent that 2 different ways. Okay, the first way we're going to represent our solution is on a number line. Okay. So you'll have these in WebAssign, okay, and we'll look at those in just a minute. So we'll say, so maybe here's 4 on our number line. We want all the x's greater than or equal to 4. Okay? So since it says or equal to 4, okay, got the equal to bar under there, that means at 4, we're going to put a filled in circle. Okay? So our circle is filled in. And we want all the numbers greater than that, so we're going to shade this way. Okay. So our solutions are all the x values greater than or equal to 4. Okay. And then another way we want to be able to represent this solution is in what we call interval notation. Okay. And in that notation, to me, it's easier to do the number line first, and then we can do interval notation. So the way interval notation works is it's going to look kind of like a point. We're going to have parentheses with 2 numbers in there, or brackets with 2 numbers in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to describe the smallest solution that will work. So for us, the smallest number that will work as a solution here, if we look at our number line, is 4. And in this case, it's or equal to, so we want to include 4. So when we have or equal to, and we're including the number, we use a square bracket. Okay. So that's as small as our solutions can be. And then we'll have a comma, and then we want the biggest that our solution can be. So the biggest number, how big can our solutions be here? It goes on forever to the right. Okay, so we're going to say that goes all the way to infinity. And if we use infinity or negative infinity, we always will have a parenthesis matched up with that. So we would say our interval notation solution goes from 4 to infinity, and we are including 4. Okay. Let's look at another one. So we'll get all the possibilities down here. Okay, so this one we have 2 minus 3x is greater than 8. So here we'll subtract 2 from both sides. We do that, we get negative 3x is greater than 6. And then here's one of our differences. This is different than when we have an equal sign. Here we will divide both sides by negative 3. And the thing to remember is when we're dealing with inequalities, if we ever multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, then we're going to flip the direction of the inequality. Okay, so here, negative 3's cancel, we get x, but instead of greater than, we're going to change the direction and make it less than. And then 6 divided by negative 3, that is negative 2. Okay. So if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we flip the direction of the inequality. Okay. So now if we do our number line, this tells us our solutions are all numbers that are less than negative 2. So if this is negative 2, This time we do not have the equal to bar on our inequality, so we're not including -2. So at -2 we're going to have an open circle, not filled in. And then it says we want all the numbers less than -2, so we're going to shade this way to the left. Okay. So open circle at 2, and then shade to the left for less than. In interval notation, we think about what's the smallest number our solutions can be. So this thing goes forever to the left, so the smallest value that works we'll call -infinity. With infinity or -infinity, we always have a parenthesis. And then we think, well, where do we stop? How big do our solutions get? Well, our solutions go all the way up to -2, but we're not including -2. -2 is not part of the list, so when we're leaving a number out, we use a parenthesis. Okay. So since we're leaving out -2, since we don't have the equal to bar, we have a parenthesis with the -2. Okay, so if you're including the number, use a bracket or a filled in circle on the number line. If you're leaving the number out, you use a parenthesis or an open circle on the number line. And then we have a special case with infinity or -infinity that always will have a parenthesis that goes with it. Okay. Let's look at another one. Okay, how about this one? We have 2x plus 1 is less than 0. Okay. So here we will subtract 1 from both sides. It's okay to subtract. We can subtract and we don't have to do anything to the inequality. That's only if we multiply or divide by a negative. And then we need to divide both sides by 2. So if we do that, we get that x has to be less than -1/2. Okay. So on our number line, so we're dealing with -1/2, so maybe we'll call this -1, and this is -2, and this is 0. We really don't need -2 on there. And then -1/2 is going to be between 0 and -1. So we're looking at somewhere right in here for -1/2. Got an open circle because we don't have the equal to bar. We're not including -1/2. And then we want all the x's less than that, so we'll shade to the left. Okay. In interval notation, how small can our solutions get? Well, it goes forever to the left, so it can go to -infinity with a parenthesis. How big can our solutions get? Well, we're going to go all the way up to -1/2, but we're not going to include -1/2, so we use a parenthesis. Okay. All right, one more. Okay, one more here. We've got 5 plus 4x is less than or equal to 9 minus 2x. Okay. So here we've got x's on both sides, so we want to get those both on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Okay, so that'll be 5 plus 6x less than or equal to 9. And then I'll subtract 5 from both sides. So we get 6x less than or equal to 4. Then we divide both sides by 6. And if we simplify 4 over 6, that is 2/3. Okay, so we want the x's less than or equal to 2/3. On our number line, we say this is 0 and this is 1. 2/3 is going to be most of the way, 2/3 of the way toward 1. We have a closed circle because it was or equal to. And then it says x is less than that, so we're going to shade to the left. Okay. In interval notation again, the smallest our solution can be, it goes forever to the left, so -infinity. The biggest our solution can be, remember we're going all the way up to 2/3, And this time we are including 2/3, so we will have a square bracket. Okay. Now let me show you how to do these in WebAssign really quickly. Okay. So this one, if you solve it, 8x is less than or equal to 9. We divide both sides by 8, we'll get x is less than or equal to 9/8, or 1 1/8. So in interval notation, okay, we'll go over here to, I think it's sets. Yeah, we'll go to sets, and you pick what type of parentheses and brackets you want on each end. So let's do our number line first. Okay, we want less than or equal to 9/8. So it's or equal to, so we're going to use this closed circle. And 9/8 is a little bit bigger than 1. So we'll put it somewhere in there. Okay. We'll use the closed circle. Okay, and then our solutions are going to be less than or equal to that. So we want to shade, we'll pick the pen here, shade to the left side. So click there and it'll draw in the arrow. Okay. Now we can do our interval notation. So our arrow goes forever to the left. So under sets, we're never going to want to open parenthesis on the left. So it's one of these. And then we're including 9/8 on the right, so we're going to have the square bracket on the right side. Okay. And then we're starting at negative infinity, so I'm going to put in a negative. And then go to symbols for infinity. And then we'll have a comma. Okay. And then we're going to stop with a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to go back to operations, do our fraction, and our fraction here is 9/8, so put in 9/8. Okay, and if we submit this, we should be good. Okay, let's make sure it's happy with that. Being kind of slow tonight. Alright, so we got our green check mark on both of those. Okay, so that's how you put those in. Okay. If you're using a parenthesis, then on the number line, you'll have the open circle right here. And if you get in trouble where you get some stuff on there you don't want on there, you can always click the garbage can and just clear it out and start over. Okay. All right, let me know if you have any questions.